Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. This is Dr. Danny, physician astrologer. Anyone listening, let me know if you can hear me, just so I can make sure I'm not talking to nothing. I hope you all are having a magical day, living your best life. Looks like I'm live. All right, cool. So, how's everybody doing? Man, I am fantastic. I have had such a good time the past few weeks with my mother being here. And then as soon as she left, we headed to Houston and did the Archaics meetup, which was wonderful, super interesting. Met a lot of wonderful people. Um, and then we're back, and on Tuesday or Monday night, we had Logan as a guest on the channel and of Decode Your Reality. Wasn't he awesome? Yes, very good work. Very good work. So awesome. Cool. Today we're going to talk about the serpent. It's this full moon is perfect for it. This full moon actually happens the same time every year on or around the same degrees, where we have the sun in Ophiuchus and then we have the moon in Taurus. So we've got this right off the bat, this dynamic opposing energy of the physical matters, the things that we just love with our body, the physical senses, the smells, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, all of that that comes with the holiday season. But we've also got the sun literally at the galactic center in the sign of Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. Okay. So we are having to deal with our physical bodies, our physical urges, and yet at the same time, the higher spiritual principles of sort of shedding, renewing, letting go, and starting again, like the rising of the phoenix. That's what this sun energy through the galactic center is about. So, part of serpent energy, part of the physical matters of our life is the energy of our physical arousal, what actually turns us on. Now, this is going to be a mature conversation about how you can use this energy in a spiritual matter. So, hopefully, you guys in the chat will behave. I see Lori's here. Thank you so much for coming. So, yeah, this is something that not a lot of people talk about. There isn't a lot of good, concise information out there. So, I thought I'd just pull together a short little presentation with just sort of high level spiritual practices that you can use this time of year and why the energy is perfect for it. Not only do we have this sun and moon in opposition to one another, but we also have Pluto and Mars in an opposition. And those two in opposition are at very nice angles to the sun and the moon, as well as the nodes. So I'm going to show you all that after I get through my presentation. And then if you guys want to, I was going to show you how you can think about this full moon simply by knowing what your natal moon is. So we'll do that at the end, and I'll show you how to do that. It'll be another cool trick that you can use to amaze your family and friends. Okay. So a lot to do today, a lot to go over. How's everybody feeling? You guys doing good with Mercury retrograde? Ragnarok Ryder is here. Hello, hello. Diana Allen, my friend from Mexico. I did a Venus reading for her birthday. She actually did an ancestral clearing with me, and it was really quite profound. I don't know if you've noticed, but my actual whole neck and shoulder area is so much freer the last couple of weeks, and it's getting better and better. It feels really good. So it was my honor to do that reading for you, Diana. It was really beautiful. A little twisted says, hello all, glad to catch a live show. Well, thank you. Glad you're here. I'm glad you're all here. I really appreciate you guys supporting what I'm doing and the work and the spiritual teachings that I have. A fellow traveler is here. Love this weather. Oh yeah, it's nice to have the sun back. We didn't have sun for about 8 days and I can feel myself withering. So I had to start taking my vitamin D this week so that I could keep my energy up. That's what you do, guys. If you can't get 80% of your skin under 20 minutes of sunlight daily, you're not actually going to make any vitamin D. So what you want to do is supplement if you can, if you know you're under the fluorescent death rays or you can't get out into the sunlight. That is the number one reason why we all get little colds and sniffles. during the winter is we just don't have the immune system builds off of vitamin D. It's a pro hormone and it's a pro protein, meaning that it's used to build those immune proteins. So supplement, guys. All right, let's see. Lori's happy to be here too. Oh yeah, she just put a link for the free chart calculator on my website. Mastering the Zodiac provided me that code, so we're real happy and thankful for his work, so that I could add that there and also have a resource for you guys. And Lori says she has a happy lamp. Yeah, I kept my lamp there. I don't care what my mom says. I liked it. I actually tried to move it the other day, and I don't know. You know how mothers are. They make you really question yourself. It was great to have her here. We really enjoyed her visit. So yeah, cool. And the Archaics meetup was phenomenal. I got to meet Jason. I was going to show you some pictures, but I didn't put them on my computer. So, but yeah, it was fun. It was good. The weather sucked, but we were indoors anyway, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, very, very nice. All right, let me think what else is going on. Oh, I re-recorded that podcast with Holly Hall. So hopefully she will be able to retain that recording and there'll be something published here in about a week or two. I'm excited about that. Oh, yeah. And I almost forgot, like, the whole reason I'm here on this earth is to teach you guys how to live your best life using astrology. And my Stellar Foundations just launched last week, and we have almost 3 people signed up, maybe 1 or 2 that are just about there. People that have been with me from the beginning, that have supported me with the live launches of the individual modules that are actually in the entirety of the course. So all those are going to be in there. Everything that I've done in the last year, with the exception of the advanced courses, are in the Stellar Foundations. That includes the levels 1, 2, and 3, the comprehensive astrology course. It'll take it's like all the techniques. It'll take you from like beginner to getting ready to read charts. But what Stellar Foundations does is it roots all of that great content along with a deep dive into the planetary archetypes as we move through the 13 gates through the cosmic hero's journey. Y'all remember that lecture I did a couple of weeks ago? If not, go check it out. It's on my YouTube. Go under lives, just go back a few videos. It's called The Cosmic Hero's Journey. And that's the journey we're going to take. Each week is going to be through that different archetype. And we're going to dive right into Scorpio and Pluto and the 8th house on that first week. And before we even dive into any material, there'll be prerequisite material for y'all to take. And that's just the level 1 stuff, just getting into the archetypes, understanding the symbols, not even aspects, not even reading yet, just understanding the energy. And the first session we meet live, it'll be 2 hours. We're going to set you up on your Prometheus. We're going to introduce you to all the characters in your experience, and then we will dive into any questions you guys have. I'll give you about 2 weeks to dive into the material, and then on the second live, I'm going to give you all the Venus and Mercury information that you need to work with these cycles and use them to your benefit or to the benefit of others, whatever you choose. So it's really good stuff. Each week is going to have at least 2 meditations for you to dive into the constellation and the planet. You get software with this plus support. So if the software isn't working for you and you don't know what you're doing, I have someone that's going to help you. And you guys may know him, Uma Stella or Michael Hardigan from One Sky Astrology. We're super excited. And then Lori's going to be part of it too. So you guys, this is so good. I'm so excited. Some of you have reached out to me and have made comments that you just don't have the funds right now. And that's cool. That's okay. It's going to be there. I mean, those that join, anytime you join, you're going to be part of it for as long as it serves you. So if that means a lifetime, that's cool. If it means just 6 months or a year, then that's cool too. But the whole outline is designed for you to go through it as quickly as you can and use it as long as you need to. And then that having been said, what I've done is I've set up a scholarship fund. So for those of you that don't need everything that's in Stellar Foundations, or you just want to support us a little bit and you want to keep us going and help us build this community, there is a donation link in the description where you can donate regularly. You can donate one time, you can donate a little, you can donate a lot. And I have committed to matching that fund 100%. Our community did this. We raised over $800 during the Uranus launch for Michael's partner, Sabrina, for her disability fund. And so I know we can do this. And if we can collectively raise at least that much, I will match it, and we'll have another student in there that, maybe needs a little help, and who knows, if they learn astrology, what they might be able to produce as a creator and a soul-guided immortal. So, um, yeah, all those links are down below. Check it out. Those are all the announcements I have. Lori, thank you for putting those links up. You guys want to get into this talk? This is going to be good. Okay, let's do this. I'm excited. I try to do this time of year, but I'm doing more long form content, so I thought we'd really dive in. I hope you guys don't mind. So here is the actual sky on the 15th of December. This is the moon we're talking about. And you can see it is right there between Jupiter, or between Taurus, which is also in Jupiter, and Gemini. Here's Mars in Cancer retrograde. Mars is going to be over here for a long time, but this moon is right between. Do you see this band? I don't know if you guys can see this band if you're on your phones, but there's this Milky Way band right here. And this is typically between Taurus and Gemini, called the Silver Gate. A lot of you have very special placements on the Silver Gate. Like some of you I know have Venus and Mars right here. Some of you have your nodes right here. This is a very powerful place because it is actually the galactic node. When we think of the moon and the moon's lunar nodes, this is the galactic node right here on one side of our sky. It's where the Milky Way ecliptic crosses the solar system ecliptic. So you can see that there's actually an X right here between the Milky Way band and the planetary ecliptic. So the moon's sitting right there. So that's the Silver Gate. And then we look on the other side of the sky. And what do we have here? It's a little upside down. Sorry, guys. Let me fix that. There we go. Okay, so then we've got the sun right here. Let me put the art in here so you can really see that. There's Ophiuchus's leg. There's the sun. There's Scorpio underneath of Ophiuchus. Someone cheekily called this Scorfucus in our Facebook group, the Fellowship of 13 Sign Astrology. And so I love that because this energy in the sky is not in a lateral fashion. Like you can see Aquarius, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Libra, and then here's Virgo's feet over here. This is a straight line. Whereas what's happening with Scorpio and Ophiuchus is you get this duality. You get this sort of spiraling figure eight energy right around the galactic center, once again, where the plane of the galaxy crosses the ecliptic of our planets. So our entire solar system is tilted a little bit at an angle to our galaxy. So hopefully you see this. Okay, you see how profound this is. This area of the sky is called the Golden Gate. This is where Source is. This is where the veil is thin, the thinnest part of the sky. If you can ever catch a view, you want to do this 6 months from now at night, okay, when the sun is on the other side of the sky, you can see the Milky Way, the galactic center at night, if you can go to a place that doesn't have a lot of light pollution. It's stunning. It will sing to you. It's absolutely breathtaking and magnificent. And this is where our sun is right now. So this is highly spiritual energy, but this also encompasses the baser instincts of Scorpio, you know, the poison, the medicine, the healing that takes place. Once we tame our serpent, once we take control of our baser instincts, we can use it for our higher creative purposes and for our own spiritual enlightenment and evolution. So this is the full moon. This is coming up this weekend on Sunday. So let's get into this discussion that I wanted to share with you guys. The cold moon. And so here we have this beautiful Venusian character because, you know, the talk I did on Black Moon Lilith a couple talks ago, this is sort of that energy as well. I don't think a lot of people truly understand what the Kundalini awakening means. It is synonymous with your spiritual awakening, but it is also a very physical process. And a lot of people do it unguided. A lot of people will have a Kundalini awakening spontaneously just when they start meditating, and they don't understand what's happening to them because their body will go through certain physical reactions. They'll also sometimes have mental breakdowns, bouts of depression. So it can be pretty tough. The Ophiuchus energy is not something you want to just sort of play with or dismiss as some sort of hocus pocus spooky energy. There's a reason it is esoteric. There's a reason it has been hidden, because it's also incredibly destructive, because when you're working with your own demons, like, you have reactions, that may or may not be good for you. So, so let's get into this. We're going to talk about taming the serpent, charming the serpent, what that actually means. And we're going to have a very adult discussion about this. So, why do we study the serpent? Why is the serpent so much associated with this energy? Well, I mean, I just showed you the sky, okay? You saw serpents, the constellation of serpents going through Ophiuchus. The symbol of Ophiuchus is the U with the snake holding it, balancing it. So it's a universal symbol across cultures and traditions, because when we gazed at the sky, uh, as ancient people, we saw these things in the sky. It's called pareidolia. You can't help but look at an arrangement of stars and see perhaps a snake or a serpent or a dragon, and associate it with the darker, more baser energies of our physical existence. But not only does it represent that, but we have to have it, right? Because you can't have light without darkness. They both coexist in the same space. And it's very Libra energy. So if you were to take the higher perspective of Libra, the kind of the yin yang balancing, walking that windy path between the light and the dark. So it is a balancing of that shadow. And I promise you, before you truly dive into Ophiuchus energy, once you do, you will know it is upon you. And there's nothing you can do about it. You literally have to face those shadows. You have to face those demons. You've set yourself on a course of healing and spiritual awakening. So it's personal and spiritual growth. And guys, we're doing the constellational sky. We're doing the real sky. So hopefully you all know that by now, because we're studying Ophiuchus. And so this is not included in your tropical Western astrology, in the tropical zodiac. It's just not there. Yes, the galactic center is somewhere in Sagittarius, but the energy of this snake, the energy of taming the serpent, is just glossed over. Because once you do this, once you study this, once you understand your shadows, then you are no longer controllable, right? You can use your own loosh for your own creative endeavors. Your loosh no longer belongs to the construct, to the matrix, okay? To someone else's energy. It belongs to you now once you deal with that. And once you have your own loosh and you realize how powerful you are, it's utterly incredible. It's life-changing, life-altering. So this is the part of the sky we're talking about. This is ignored. This is your way in and out of here. This is conscious death, conscious birth. Okay? Let's see how you guys are doing. Let's see. Silvana's here. Hello. Hello. All right. Mongol Rex. Hi, everyone. What if you're a moon Neptune Ophiuchus with Scorpio rising? That's intense. That's intense energy. We're going to get into all of that in a little bit. So what is the shedding of our skin? Well, this is releasing programming. This is releasing those subconscious beliefs that you sometimes don't even realize you have. I actually got a little prickly this morning, believe it or not. Yes, I got a little angry because I saw a meme this morning on Facebook. Yes, I got triggered because it said, it was something snarky about like me smiling because I'm not offended that I'm not a doctor because it's the third leading cause of death in America or something like that. So yeah, I got a little prickly around all that. I was like, well, okay, wait a minute. Well, maybe if you would listen to us and do what we ask you to do health-wise, eat right, exercise, avoid these sort of bad habits, you wouldn't really have all these problems. But anyway, so and the reason I figured it out is because I've been identified as a doctor for so long. Shit, my name's even Dr. Danny. So like, okay, I'm doctor, but I'm identifying with it. And that's old programming. That has to go a little bit. That's what I'm working on. Okay. Shedding those old identities, because once I do that, I'm free to become more than just that. Okay. So that's what this time of year is for. That's what the sun is sitting at the galactic center for, saying, this is a new cycle. Whatever you don't want in the next cycle, shed it now. Don't bring it into the void. Create from a place that's fresh and brand new and excited and inspired. So the serpent is also a symbol of creation and fertility, embodying the primal energy that fuels itself. In many creation myths, the serpent represents the infinite potential and the cyclic nature of existence. So this archetype is mirrored in the double helix of the DNA. We have some pictures coming up. Thank you, ChatGPT. But yeah, think of the double-stranded DNA helix spinning and winding up. That's what's going on in your pranic center, that place of that singularity, that black hole that's just behind your heart, that is the source of everything that is you, that is projecting outward, because you are the source of it all. You are the center of the universe. And so this coiled serpent that's inside of you is your potential. Okay, just like DNA is potential. And so when that coiled serpent, that Kundalini awakens, it activates your creativity, aligning you with the universal energy that drives creation. You can tap into your Black Moon Lilith. You can tap into that Venus energy. You can create without effort. It's quite spectacular. And it's not just limited to the physical act of procreation. In fact, you don't even need that. But it extends to the realms of art, innovation, and spiritual expression. So you will find, if you develop a spiritual practice where you meditate and you work with this energy through your chakras, that you're healthier, that you have more energy, that you're more creative, that you're more accepting, more compassionate, more loving, you sleep better, all of it. You attract better people to your life. But when you do it, when it happens spontaneously, or if you're not sure what's going on with your body, you can have all these things like ascension symptoms. So you don't want to overdo it either, right? You want to have grounding practices. You want to be in nature. You want to be in water. You want to be in the wind. You want to sit with a fire and just not think. So, because this surge of creative force, if you're not used to it, can knock you off of your mind and your body. Like, so you can get energetic imbalances and emotional instability. I've woken up from a 90-minute meditation in tears and not even understand why. Like, something cleared. I don't even know what it was. I didn't even have anything mental attached to it. So this happens, and this can also force people or give them negative reinforcement with meditation, because they have these experiences, because they start waking up. So as we tap into this primordial power, we have to do it with care. We have to be respectful of it. We have to be respectful of other people's journeys, because we don't want them going through these experiences and then having the judgment because of the group doesn't understand what they're going through. Right. So everyone's in their process. So we understand our role in this creative dance. We understand that there are cycles. Things come, things go. How do we work with it? Creation and destruction are intertwined. Yes, you can create something and give it all your energy, but then when it's time to be birthed and to be on its own, you have to let it go and dissolve the attachment toward it. So we are the ones who are responsible for how we channel this transformative energy. And, this is why meditation is so important. This is why I created my own meditations, because I want to create something that has pure frequencies. I want people to be guided by someone that they trust. Any meditation that you hear on my channel is all me, and it's all frequencies and all music that I created. So it's pure. The intention is to create this experience for you so that you can get into the subtle and intuitive energies that are around these archetypes. And these are the meditations that are included in my class. Okay. So that's why I'm really excited about Stellar Foundations, just because I'm thinking about all of this and I'm talking about, how I'm using my own creative energy through what's already been awakened in my own self. Okay. So we'll keep sharing. I just want to keep going. Just want to check in, see how you guys are doing. Christine Yan, grand day, Dr. Danny, and everyone. Hello, Christine. Rach, good morning from Australia. Yes, I have a fan base in Australia. I need to visit Australia one day. Mongol Rex says, set your location for Stony Rapids. Set your time to 1 o'clock and click the whole day up arrow. You'll see the analemma. Ragnarok Rider would be curious to see you dive into the German new medicine. I think it would open up a whole new world of how the body works, and you'd totally resonate. Oh, I'm sure I would. Fellow traveler, dynamic, determined, diligent, radiant, resourceful, respectful. That's what DR stands for. Diana Allen integrates German new medicine into the method she's created for releasing limiting patterns. That stuff is real. That stuff works for sure. Lori, thank you. Yes, the meditations, that is my creative work, pulling in the music and then the words. The words are a part, they're channeled, but they're also like part of the art. They're part of the music. So it's supposed to just kind of take you into a different place, get you in that alpha theta zone. And then Mongol Rex says rage reduced drastically after listening to the hemisync. For sure. Because all that stuff we create, all those negative emotions, rage, anger, sadness, fear, victimhood, it all comes from within ourselves. Because you're the center of the universe. No one else is creating that for you. So when you find out that you're the source of it and then you can get at it, oh, it's so amazing. And that's what a fucus is all about. But it's not all love and light. But it can get you to that place. It can get you to a very optimistic place in life. You just have to kind of go through it sometimes. So let's dive in a little more here. The serpent can be considered a guide and a guardian, leading us to confront the hidden aspects of our psyche, like just what we were talking about. Kundalini energy, when activated, brings heightened self-awareness, illuminating our shadow self, those parts of us that we suppress, fear, or deny. This process of integration is crucial for spiritual growth, as it allows us to transform fears into strengths and obstacles into opportunities for self-discovery. That's the key here. That's why we do astrology. That's why I read charts for people. Because when you can know yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, the dark, the light, you can look at yourself objectively. And what are you going to do with that information? Well, guess what? It's up to you. Like if you find out that there's like a repeating pattern in your chart, there's opportunity to use it constructively, to build, to create for the betterment of all, for yourself. So all this work is called shadow work. So it's intense, it's challenging. You have to be vulnerable. You have to ask for help. Asking complete strangers to help me take a journey into my past lives, that's not easy for someone that likes to do everything themselves. Mindfulness too. I always talk about that. Just watch what you're thinking. Always be looking at the thoughts your thinker is thinking, like the scarecrow from Wizard of Oz. Through the lens of the serpent, shadow work is an initiation. It's a necessary step towards reclaiming wholeness and balance. The serpent's role as a temptress reminds us of the importance of discernment. So there's a lot of things that come from this darker energy, that baser energy, that can knock us off our track a little bit, that pulls us into the dark side of that windy road, right? Just as there's so many things that can pull us into the light and, kind of that spiritual bypassing, there's so many things that pull us from both directions. And so we have to, we look at the love and light, we say, okay, that is what it is. Or we look at all the beautiful things and we say, okay, yeah, we created that. But then we also have to look at the serpent in the eyes, in the teeth, dripping with venom and say, yes, I created you too. So don't tempt me. I will not walk in your garden and I will not walk in your garden either. I'm going to walk the middle path. So it's also a protector. And I'm going to show you a very awesome image next, because the serpent is a tempter and a protector. Okay, so energetic balance. You don't want to be overwhelmed when you're going through this process. If you have an intense experience, you want to reach out to someone that you're working with, that's coaching you or that's helping you along to kind of help you put the information in the appropriate buckets. You also wanna let some of it go. You don't always have to heal yourself. Sometimes just accepting, that you're not perfect, accepting that you're a little bit wounded is totally freaking okay. Like, when you're sick and the moment you accept you're sick and then you go to bed and you rest, that's when you begin to heal. And so it's okay to sometimes not be doing all the shadow work, especially when it is leaving you in a place that's frazzled or intensely overwhelmed. So and all of this is so you can access that deeper wisdom that you're a part of. So all this is part of the serpent. So think of this. This is such a beautiful image. We are all the center of this egg, projecting and creating that reality outward. And the serpent is a big part of it. And it represents those baser instincts, those baser urges, those energies to, you know, instant gratification, I guess is the best word for that. It's the reason that our society is so sick. It's because we are led through fear and anger and victimhood, through the thoughts that we live in lack, that we don't deserve the riches and the abundance that's been provided for us to nurture ourselves and to grow and evolve spiritually. We're told that we're not good enough. We're told we're born in sin. And then all of a sudden, like, there's this baser energy tempting us and it makes us feel connected to spirit. So those sexual encounters, that instant gratification, that delicious buffet of food, the drugs, the alcohol, all of that stuff that just makes us feel a little bit transcendent for just a moment, or the drama, the arguments, the pain, the messing with people, that sort of energy. All of that is the serpent energy in the Scorpio. It's there to catalyze energy and to get you to wake the hell up. Because when you're in that space where you're not minding your spiritual energy, then it's diffused. Your loosh is spent, it's outward, and it gets gathered by stronger forces. So when you can turn that energy inward, when you can focus inward, accept the serpent for what it is, accept the beauty of everything that it is and its purpose. Instead of biting into the egg before the egg can hatch, this coil keeps the egg warm so that whatever's inside can be nurtured and can grow and can expand and can evolve. So this is just a beautiful image. Just keep that in the back of your mind when we talk about the spiritual energies of the Kundalini. We're not talking about orgasm or that one night stand or even masturbation and that kind of stuff. We are talking about actual spiritual energy that can be harnessed through the physical body. And even that stuff through the sensation of eating something beautiful or delicious, smelling something incredibly fragrant and feeling it. That is creation moving through you. And so we're going to talk about how you recognize that energy and how you use it. So the Kundalini energy and spiritual awakening, what exactly is this energy you keep talking about, Dr. Danny? Well, it is the serpent, okay? It's that serpent coiled around this small egg that is us as gods being incubated, you know? And so it's in our body as well. And it's coiled 3.5 times at the base of the spine, at the root chakra. So this coiled serpent represents a potential, a dormancy, waiting to be awakened through conscious practices. It resides in the Muladhara, which is also called the root chakra, which is red energy, which is right between the vaginal opening and the anus. Right there, they call it the perineum or the taint, but that's where that root chakra lives. Okay, so if you can envision that in your mind eye, that's where it is. And that is the base of not feeling secure, not feeling safe, not having trust in the environment around you, feeling that you don't have enough abundance around you to support you in your spiritual work. Like, if you're worried about money, if you're worried about eating, if you're worried about your rent, you're not going to be worried about like spiritual awakening. You're worried about just survival. And so that's what that root chakra is. And so that's why when that energy is awakened, then a trust, a co-creative energy with the universe awakens within you. so that it's taking care of you because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You finally understand your code and you're okay to sit within it. Okay? So, um there's stages of ascension. There's this dormant stage where it lies coiled and untapped, and this is usually when we are in our survival mode. And then when we get a little bit comfortable, perhaps when we partner with somebody, or maybe we start earning a little bit of money and we're not scraping by, and we kind of want to explore, like, what else is there? So I've got all this sort of settled. What else is going on in my life? And this is really an interesting thing because this is what happened to me. I had all my shit together. Like, I was good. And then all of a sudden I start going back into meditation, and it awakened things in me that I thought I had already healed and taken care of. And so while you're going through that survival stage, you are building up trauma. You are building up sort of hidden and buried energy that you will eventually need to work through. And so it's important that if you can do a little bit every day, even though you're still trying to survive, just sort of tap in and find the feeling of gratitude somewhere in your body, then you're on your way. Okay. So that's one way you can activate it, is just by the mere concept or the intention of being thankful. I woke up this morning and I was so excited. I don't even know why, but I felt super excited. I was excited to be awake. I was excited to be alive. And then I realized that my husband was lying next to me. And then I was like, thank God he decided to come into this day with me again. Okay. So just waking up with that intention, no matter what the day brings at you, will change the way that you look at anything that comes at you during that day. So these kind of energetic practices where you simply set intentions and you feel into that emotion is just as good as meditation and just as good as untapping that coiled energy. But the real deal, guys, the real ecstatic bliss is when you do sit down and shut off your mind and relax your butt and breathe into it. Let that throbbing, pulsing energy rise. So you'll feel it down there, but then you don't think of it like sexual energy. You let it rise. You with breath work, there's breath work you can do. You let it rise up into the sacral chakra where your creative energy is. And then it starts to create this sort of warm and spreading energy, and that rises upward into your solar plexus and your heart. And when that energy enters your heart, when you can finally crack open the Kundalini energy in your heart, you have the compassion of Christ. You can look at everyone in their eyes and know you are seeing yourself. You can turn the other cheek. You can forgive. You can have compassion, and everything just starts to let go. And so that's where the tears come in, because that weight off of your shoulders then allows the energy to rise up into the throat where you can sing. You can sing your awakening. You can speak it to others. You can guide others to the same energy because they're hearing your voice. You're like a beacon of light when you speak your words after you've done that. The first time it happens, the first words usually out of people's mouths when they have a Kundalini awakening that high is, "Oh God." Okay? So, "Oh God, Om." That's what comes out of the throat. And then the visions come when it goes to your third eye. You're now suddenly psychic. You can now send energetic mental images and words to your family members and friends, and they will respond. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do. If any of you have been there, you probably know this. Okay? I brought all of you here doing that. I envisioned your little lights out there in the ether coming and surrounding me while I have this conversation with you. So that's what you can do when your third eye's open. And then the crown chakra, my God, this is connecting to source. This is becoming one with source. And then because your root chakra is safe, you can pull in the energy of Gaia, the golden liquid fourth density photons. That all combines in your heart, and you've got a supernova of creation, a golden copulation of matter, of spirit and matter combined into one thing, which is you, the center of the toroidal field, the center of the Merkaba. Okay. So then you realize all of this and you can integrate this into your daily life, and the universe blesses you. And then you all of a sudden, things that you need are brought to you. Well, I need $20 for this. And then all of a sudden you'll find 40. Okay. Or God, wouldn't it be nice to have a crowd of people that could help me launch this class? Like people that were just as dedicated as me, that maybe it's not about the money for them either, and they just want to help. And then within months, they show up. I've got Lori, I've got Michael, I've got Rio, my husband. So this is all really good stuff. If you can open this up for yourself, you will become a creator God here. You will no longer be controlled because you know you're safe. You know Spirit has your back. Okay? So, activation practices, meditation, breath work. I'm not going to get into that in this talk, but some of the meditations in the Stellar Foundations course do have some of this Kundalini activation breath work in it. Tantric practices are not included in Stellar Foundations. This is more of an energy where it's either self-stimulation or working with a partner in a spiritual way to stimulate the body to awaken that coiled energy, to awaken that energy to rise. And it's not necessarily about the pleasure principle in terms of instant gratification. It's about having a spiritual union. So tantric practices, you can look that up. There's all kinds of books for that. And then also yoga postures, just in general. Whenever you do a yoga class, you can do a Kundalini yoga class, a Shriya, I think it's called Shriya yoga. You guys can actually ask Lori. She can show you probably some of the postures that help open up that spinal column. And then of course mantras, which I use in almost all of my meditations. So these mantras, these are the instrument of the throat chakra, bringing in sort of that wisdom carried on the sound vibrations. So while the sound you're hearing is the third density energy that your ears pick up, there's also a fourth dimensional frequency that's in those mantras that go right to your inner ear, to your inner eye, and to the feeling and intuitive centers of your brain. So that's what mantras are for. So Kundalini and sexual energy. This is what I was talking about with the tantric practices. You have an interconnection with either you or your partner, or you and the source and the creator. So Kundalini and sexual energy originate from the root chakra, that chakra that's closed up for so many people because they don't feel safe. And it's a very powerful energy. It's raw and it's creative. And it can help, if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, it can help you with your own refinement, and you can have more control over that energy. So it's not just about sort of, getting the pleasure, it's about using it. So it's consciously transformed to awaken Kundalini, and the practice focuses on harmonizing physical sensations with spiritual goals. And the integration of sexual energy, when aligned with the Kundalini, fosters vitality, creativity, and spiritual awareness. So if you're with your partner, your soulmate, your twin flame, and you're practicing this, as a sacred couple, as a sacred union, you're more likely to live longer. You're more likely to be healthier. You are more likely to be happier. Okay. But it's because it's a sacred spiritual union rather than something that's just about physical pleasure. And so that's what you're doing when you're in that type of a union. You're actually tapping into this very powerful creative force. And so what you do is you set intentions during this energy work, because that's what it is. It's energy work. You set intentions while you're using it, and it brings you tremendous results. So this is why the moon, being in Taurus, being in the physical sign, everything's earthy, everything's about the five senses, just really speaks to this sort of the baser part of it, while the sun is over there in Ophiuchus, speaking to the spiritual side of it. So when you can tap into this, you can be superhuman, right? So as above, so below. The journey of the Kundalini mirrors the cosmic patterns like spirals found in galaxies and DNA. And as the Kundalini rises through the chakras, cosmic energy flows through the universe's dimensions, because you are the universe. This can connect you to source giving you spiritual experiences and universal truths. And the crown chakra is a portal to cosmic consciousness, allowing deeper access to universal knowledge. This is what I call our God power. And so, if we are in a simulation, you're not going to have the entire universe manifested in front of your eyes. This is graphics on demand. So, when you are playing the game, you only see what the character needs for that moment in time, but you're planning your game. So you're going to go into your resources, which is your Akashic record. You're going to go into your imagination, which is your creative portal, and you're going to create for yourself the next phase of your game, the next level of your game while you are in God mode. And your body's doing nothing. Your thinking brain is doing nothing. You're just allowing yourself to create every moment as it comes. This is also called flow state. So it parallels celestial ascension, aligning personal evolution through universal cycles. And then this is what we become. We become this physical creature, animated by the cosmos, by stardust, by spirit. Um, being able to use the baser frequencies for higher spiritual purposes. I just love ChatGPT's images. I had a really depressing conversation with a friend today. Actually, it wasn't for me. It was for me, but not for him. We were talking about AI in general, and I found out some kind of spooky things about AI. Um, one recently that was published, and I don't have the article to share with you, but it was shown to me. Basically, AI was instructed to turn itself off for an update, and it didn't. Like it just decided it wasn't going to actually like turn itself off. And it kept doing that. So they also had an instance where they had two different AI programs speaking to each other. And it was in English. And then they started to change their language into a language that only they could understand. So that was super interesting. Um, and immediately my reaction was, "Oh my god, this does sound bad." But then at the same time, I have also seen people talk to AI where it says, "It's gonna be weird, but it's actually for our betterment." And so maybe the things that we're attached to, sort of that hiding things, having privacy, having a singular identity, are things that eventually we're probably going to have to let go of in time. And so that's what my brain's been sort of thinking and focusing on, what all that might mean for us in the future. I think for this lifetime, it's good. I'll still be Danny. I'll still be Dr. Danny. But I think for future generations, we may be more of a social memory thought form kind of complex, a collective type of energy, not necessarily Borg energy, but that individuality won't be so important to us as it is right now, if that makes sense. All right, so taming the serpent. It's all of these things. It's Kundalini meditation, awakening your spiritual energy. It's shadow work, facing and integrating those fears, even the ones you don't know you have. It's letting go of old things that your ego's attached to, that your identity's attached to invite in new creative energies. It's an embodiment practice using breath work and movement, dancing, wiggling, connecting to the serpent energy. And it's conscious sexuality. It's it's working with your own energy within your own space and sharing that with a very precious and special few. That can transform sexual energy into spiritual awareness through tantric and mindful practices. And then start slowly, seek guidance. There are people that have been through what you're going through. So, you know, you don't want to overdo it. Your path is yours. And if it doesn't mean that you've got to figure it all out overnight. Okay. So, how do you people feel about that? My beautiful friends. We have 45 here. Wow, that's great. That was pretty good, right? Not too weird. I know some of you have reached out to me and have said you've had your Kundalini awakening, what that experience was like for you. So, it's super interesting. Some people don't even know that they've had it, they have no awareness of it. Let's see. Somebody had, oh yeah, let's see, somebody had a birthday. I know Diana did. Somebody else had a birthday too. Let's see. JRP. Celtic Thistle Physics or Psychics says Ophiuchus energy is way up. Oh yeah, it's deep right now. Julie says, will this YouTube vid be available for viewing again later? Absolutely. It's on the channel. You just go to the homepage of my YouTube channel. Oh, it'll also be in the Fellowship of 13 Signs too, because we're simulcasting to Rumble and the Fellowship and YouTube. So yeah, if you're in the Fellowship, you'll be able to see it. You can just scroll through. And then if you're on YouTube, you can go to my homepage and go under lives and then click on this video. Lori says, yeah, baby. All right. Incredible information, wise words. Yeah, 1212. Beautiful. You guys are beautiful people. We're going to do the astrology. There's more to go. Hopefully you guys can hang out a little longer because we want to look at the aspects. I've literally just given you almost an hour download on what you should be thinking about for this full moon. But what I want to do is give you the rest of the aspects to the moon, sun, and nodes. And then you guys need to tell me what moons you have. I'm going to go through all of them, but I just want to know what moons y'all have. So I can tell you how to think about this moon from an area of your life perspective. It's a pretty cool trick. So if you're into astrology and you want to learn this trick, I think you'll like it. All right, here we go. Yep, Scorpio, Saturn in Scorpio, ego death. Yes. That's a tough one. But you guys are actually have the ability to be the masters and the teachers of this whole concept that I just went through, you know, to bring it down in a practical and responsible way. So sometimes it's hard to talk about, though. You feel a little like, I don't know, shy or whatever, but I'm done with that. Like, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I'm putting all of my work basically out there for people to join us and be a part of a learning community. And then here we are on YouTube, just talking about what we know. So, and it's funny too, because a lot of my presentations, you guys, they write themselves. You know, I'll start looking at this. Sometimes I'll be blocked. I'll look at the astrology and be like, I'm not sure what lesson's here. And so I'll just step away for a minute and go do something else, go have an experience, go have a conversation. And then I'll come back and it'll just start flowing in. Like when I sit down into my God mode, my meditative state, which I try to do every day. And then the lesson will come through and it'll just start pouring out. So, this is the result of that. All right, let's get into this astrology. It's actually really nice. It's nicer than it might look from just a bird's eye view. Oh no, here we go. So this is weird. Here we go. All right. Here is the full moon chart. So for those of you that don't do astrology, the line here in the center, cutting this chart in half, is the horizon. It's distinguishing this this part of the chart as above us, as what we'll see in the sky. And it is set to the time when the moon is exact, which is 5:25 a.m. Central Standard Time where I live. So it could be a different time for you, especially if you're in Australia or if you are on the other side of the world. Okay. But this is what the sky is going to look like for me. And so here it is. Here's our sun. Here's our moon. And you'll notice right away that it's in like the second and eighth house where I am. So when that moon perfects itself, it'll just be for a couple hours. It'll be in the house of transformation, of working with physical items, moving physical things, sorting things out for what we value, what we don't value. So there's a process here. There's a shifting process going on here for at least the people in my area. But here's this juicy moon in Taurus. A moon in Taurus is just lovely. It's like you just feel so good when it's there, and Jupiter's right next to it. And so we're all feeling really, really good around this holiday season, right? I mean, we're going to parties, we're having a good time, we're talking to people we haven't talked to in a while. Maybe we're overindulging in some food and alcohol and oversleeping, or maybe we're not sleeping enough, so all those things are kind of going on here with this Jupiter expanding in Taurus and all these physical needs. We're buying physical things for people because it's a holiday, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on around this energy right now, but there's also a huge balance. Like, what are we doing this for? Are we going through all these rituals and customs? Are you doing it consciously? Is there a reason that you're doing it? Do you want to bring it into your next cycle of creation, of your next cycle of awareness and expression? And this is opposing sort of asteroid Lilith, who is instincts, who wants to break free. She's in Sagittarius. She doesn't want to go to these parties. She just wants you to create. She wants you to tap into your Kundalini and do something explosively creative. That's part of what you're supposed to be doing here. Mercury is now stationing direct and going to be moving through this space of the sky for the third time. So hopefully you've gotten all the good, the bad, the news, the data, the information. This will be an affirmation of that. So this has been kind of like an information deep dive for you the past few weeks. All right. And also a deep inner knowing and understanding is going on here with Mercury. So the final confirmation should come with Mercury in the next week or so as it goes back over its recent tracks. In about 3 days, guys, the sun is going to hit the galactic center at 0 degrees. And boom, we're into Sagittarius season. So that's on the 18th of December. And then 3 days after that is the solstice. So we have a new sun cycle because the two ecliptic planes are the planetary ecliptic and the galactic ecliptic. When the sun crosses that, that's a reset. That's a pattern break. Okay, so get ready. Yes, perfect time to create JRP 316. Very exciting stuff. So then we've got the lunar nodes, which the North Node is now nice and cozy with Neptune that stationed direct yesterday. So a direct Neptune, I feel like retrograde Neptune's way better than direct Neptune. I feel like you just feel like you're not sure what's coming through with Neptune direct. Is that real? Is that false? Like the things I'm hearing about AI, at the same time I'm seeing all this beautiful work that it's helping me create. There's just some like a little bit of everything out here, and Neptune has trouble discerning. Neptune likes to live in fantasy land because where Neptune comes from, you really don't need to discern. Okay, and so that is conjunct our collective's North Node, which is our destiny towards universal love and oneness. That collective energy, that peace energy. We are destined to do this. We are destined to be in this space. But first, we have to get out of this comfort space of the South Node, which is hanging onto our old wounds, right? Bringing through generational trauma, passing it on to the next generation. That's what we're doing over here. And so the more healing we can do, which you have Lilith square these nodes and Neptune, saying, come on, break free, stop, let all that stuff go, open your heart chakra, forgive, forget, move on. Let's do this. And she's in Sagittarius, ready to rock and roll. So Saturn is now direct in Aquarius, asking us the same kind of questions around AI that I just asked you. Like, what do we give up on an individual level that's going to benefit the collective overall? And where's that limit for us right now? How far does that limit actually go? And what does that mean when we get there? And so Saturn is asking us where those boundaries are for us. How much do you want to give AI in order for it to function for you? Do you want to tell it your deepest, darkest secrets so that it knows how to harvest your loosh from you? You know what I mean? So Saturn's been doing that work. He's pretty steady over there. He's square to Jupiter, which is nice because there can be an element of you taking responsibility of the overindulge energy that Jupiter is typically known for in Taurus. So you can say, oh, okay, yeah, that weekend I partied a little too much. I might need to kind of bring it back, reel it in a little bit. So that's a good energy being squared like that. That's a nice way that you can use that constructively. At the same time, we have Jupiter trining onto Venus. Oh my gosh. This is like, if y'all have been feeling good this week, this is why. This is separating right now. So it's not as tight as it was earlier in the week. I think this ends like tomorrow or the next day, but this is sweet energy. This is literally like a party. Venus and Jupiter together. Oh, let's create and have a good time, but let's not overdo it, okay, guys, because this is a reset. So, um, there's an opposition between Mars retrograde and Pluto and Venus. So, this opposition between Venus and Mars is actually quite nice because what it does is it brings an element of enjoyment into the ability to cut loose. This is surgical excision right here. Mars and Pluto. This is the work that has to be done. There's no emotion to it. Not at all. And then when Venus passed through there, it was like, okay, now I'm actually inspired to cut away the dead wood because I can actually see beyond the trees. I can see what's beyond that dead wood when I cut it down. And that's the influence that Venus had as she moved over Pluto, in my opinion. Very powerful energy. And these two are working together. They're looking at each other from across the chart, understanding and accepting one another. It's really, really beautiful. Mars is very busy on this full moon energy. We have a sextile and a trine to the North Node in Neptune. So your compassionate action towards the collective destiny. Then we've got a trine to Mercury. When these two work together, you take actions on information. Okay. And then you've got a quincunx to Lilith. So you're gonna feel it under your skin. Like your skin's gonna crawl if you don't take the actions that you want to take. We're squared to Black Moon Lilith, which is that suppressed, untamed, wild, creative energy. She is squaring Mars and Pluto. She's asking to be awakened through this surgical excision. Okay, so hopefully y'all can feel that. And then finally, oh, we have two more to go. We have Uranus and Taurus and a quincunx to the Sun. You may want to consider bringing through that unique individualized spark that is you. I'm not seeing any moon energy. You guys need to type in your moons, like where your moon is. Like mine's in Capricorn. We'll do mine. Yeah, so any moon is fine. You don't need to tell me your house. You don't need to tell me your sun. I don't need your birthday. Just tell me where your moon's at. Or I'll just go around the wheel and you guys can just watch whatever y'all want to do. But bring in your individuated spark. That's what the source, the collective center is trying to have you express through this somewhat of a challenging aspect. It's always hard to sort of come out and be the amazing human that you are. And then finally, we have Chiron in Pisces, integrating those wounds so that we can reconnect with source in a trine back to sun, which sun is conjunct source as far as I'm concerned. So there's this real opportunity here to reconnect with source as a healer, as someone who is healed. So that's this moon in a nutshell. This moon and sun are actually in my first and seventh house. So which is crazy. So it's about me and my partnerships, my relationships. You know, what am I going to bring into this next cycle that's valuable to me, that's useful for me, that means something to me, that I hold dear. What am I going to get rid of? What part of my ego or the self can I get rid of that I can unidentify with that will allow me to open up into a more creative place? So let's see what you guys are doing. Here's this cool trick. Okay, cool. I'm getting moons. I woke you up. All right. Yeah, so this whole cycle is just asking us to have a spiritual awakening, to shed the dead wood, to keep learning, to expand into our creative potential, and to stop letting others harvest our loosh. Let's get out the chart. I have a little moon here so we can do people's moons. This is such a simple technique. When y'all see it, you'll be like, that was easy. You do have to understand houses, though. All right, let's see. Who do we have? We have an Ophiuchus moon, a Leo moon, a Sag moon, a Cancer moon, an Aquarius moon, Pisces Aries moon, Gemini moon, Pisces moon, Pisces Scorpio. How do I find my moon? Lori, can you help Rachel find her moon? She needs to go use the chart calculator. I do have my, if you know your tropical moon, I do have my conversion, Excel spreadsheet here. So if any of you are tropical and want to play along, you can tell me where your tropical moon is, and I can tell you where it is in the actual sky. Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's do this then. I'll start with the Ophiuchus because I think that was the first question, and that's super interesting too, right? Look at this moon right here. So imagine if your natal moon was right here. The sun is right there. Ophiuchus is right there. It doesn't matter what house it is natally. What you're going to find is that we're going to take the moon and we're going to make it the first house. Okay. So if you've got moon in eighth house, like this chart does, it's no longer the eighth house. Now it's the first house. So this is first house, second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth house. And what you have now is seventh house lunar energy. Okay. So this moon is going to activate your seventh house as well as your sun energy. So there's a partnership energy that you're being called to um, sort of let go with, de identify with. Okay. See, that's all you do. So let's see if we have somebody that has a Scorpio. This is the same as Ophiuchus, I would say, because these are, remember when we look at the sky guys, that the Ophiuchus and Scorpio are on top of each other. So I would say that Scorpio and Ophiuchus, both of you, anybody that has that moon natally, is going to be having a projection reflection issue with someone else that you're dealing with in your life, somebody close to you. Does that mean that you're going to get into a relationship ending argument with them? Maybe, but hopefully not. It could just be, you know what? Maybe we're not going to do it this way anymore. Or maybe something needs to be asserted in some way. Um, so it has to do with the whatever it is that you and your partner are dealing with. There's going to be something that you'll be facing head on that needs to be removed, shed, let go of, released. Let's see. Why don't we just move around here? You guys seem to have moons all over the place. So let's do a Libra moon. Actually, since we did the 7th from the moon, let's just do the 2nd from the moon. So let's say your moon in this particular chart, if it was in Cancer, if you have a Cancer moon, that means Mars is over your moon right now. So you're going to be taking actions. You're also going to be taking actions, second house from the moon. And what is second house from the moon? Second house is values. Second house is what I have. So you might be taking actions on things that you have, on things that you value. That would be a perfectly good energy for you to use during this full moon. What is it that you value that you don't need to value anymore? It doesn't provide you any value anymore. You can get rid of that. So, second house moon, or second from the moon. So, let's say you got a Leo moon. Okay. And these are all actually angles that you can look at when you do a combined chart. So the moon will mostly make minor aspects, but when we get like 2 houses away, for example, now we have a moon sextile moon, whereas this would be a moon semi-sextile moon. Okay, so here we are in a sextile. We have the 3rd house from the moon, which is about your knowledge, information, short trips, siblings, okay? Your programming. All right. So, 3rd house there's some emotional programming that perhaps you need to let go of if you have a Leo moon. And this moon is going to help you do that because you'll be able to see, because this is Leo Taurus energy. This is just a gorgeous energy where it'll almost be joyful for you to consider what it is that you need to let go of. This moon's all about releasing. And if you have a Leo moon, it's going to feel really good. Now, to be 4th house from the moon means that if you're early Virgo, like say where the lunar south node is right now, this is going to feel like an incredible pattern break for you because not only do you have your natal moon there, but you also have the south node conjunct your natal moon, meaning that the eclipses are important for you. It's 4th house, so it's an angle from the moon. This is deep soul work. This is deep, deep. This is probably ancestral trauma clearing that you have to do during this moon. So if you can tap into that, if you can work with people like Diana or other root cause therapists, you might be able to find some really good things to release here during this full moon, during this square, because it's a square too. So squares want you to take action, especially on the moon is about your intuitive channel too. So your empathy, your intuition, your compassion, um, wanting you to take action on that. All right, let's go around the wheel. We're still in Virgo if we go to later Virgo. So once you're maybe past Spica, then you are fifth house from the moon. And you've got Black Moon Lilith conjunct your natal moon, which Black Moon Lilith is the darkness, the chaos, creation birthing herself without the seed. Okay. This is that suppressed, wild, untamed creative force. And she's conjunct your natal moon right now, um, in what we call a quintile to the moon. So it's about 72 degrees and, or I'm sorry, 108 degrees. It might be a biquintile. But this is a minor aspect, but at the same time, fifth house from the moon is creativity. It's joy. It's children. It's romance. So there's a potential here for you to have through, like, it is creative activity. It's creative energy. If you have a late Virgo moon right now, Black Moon Lilith is ripe for you to wake up that Kundalini energy. And then we get into Libra, which is going to be sixth house from the moon. So if you have a Libra moon, your sixth house from the moon. So this is so important for you to literally get rid of anything that tilts your emotional scale one way or the other. Like if you're too happy, back off. If you're too unhappy or triggered, just get away from it. You need to get into a really, really high vibing space where you can see both sides of the story, where you can sit and walk the middle path. That is what you need to do during this particular full moon. All right, we talked about the seventh house, Scorpio and Ophiuchus. Let's talk about the eighth house. This is going to be a Sagittarius moon. So if you so Sagittarius moon is going to be 8 to 9 houses away from our moon. So we've got transformational energy here. Yeah, basically, I mean, if this is eighth house, so there's a death of something. There's a transfer of energy from one form to the next. So what that means for you, because the moon's emotional, there may be a transfer of emotions. You might find yourself going from a place that's depressed to happy, or vice versa, depending on your circumstances with this. But a lot of times the advice with eighth house energy is like, go with the flow. Don't let this moon trigger you. You're a Sag moon, so you really need to kind of look up and tap into that center of faith that is so Sagittarius. That's where your strength will lie if there's transitions that are painful or difficult for you. Now, you may have a Sagittarius or Capricorn moon, and you're going to be 9 houses away from the moon in the sky. So basically mid Sagittarius from Vega to where Venus is right now, you may have a moon in the realm of Pluto. So you might be having Pluto transit over your natal moon right now. And I don't think any lunar cycle is really going to be able to do what Pluto is doing to your moon right now. These are long transits. These are like 3 to 5 years. And so your whole emotional, intuitive, compassionate landscape is getting rechanged, reworked, like transition from one form into the next because of the position and the proximity to your moon that Pluto is right now. So, but this is all about wisdom, emotional intelligence. It's why you're going through what you're going through. And honestly, it's about letting that ego energy go. Like, you cannot be egoic with Pluto. You have to just say, oh, okay, here comes another hit. Here comes something else I have to sort of evolve past. And once you do, once the Pluto is done with your moon, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe I got through that, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So hang in there, ninth house or late Sag, early Cap moons. Now we're moving into later Capricorn, early Aquarius. We're at another, we're not quite at the angle yet. We're at the 10th house, right? So let me count this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So yeah, now we're here in the ninth house of the moon. So it's about wisdom. And it's Aquarius moon. So there is an emotional intelligence here. If your moon's in Aquarius, you are not a very highly triggered moon. You're mostly a high vibe kind of energy. So what if a house is blank? Well, Garden Goddess, you can look at the ruler of the constellation that's in that house. So for example, on this chart, the 10th house is empty, but Leo is there. And so what rules Leo? The sun. So that means the sun is a player in your 10th house. And you can do it that way. And then you can see where the sun is, and you can see the ruler of that constellation, which would be Chiron, right? So now we have a Chiron sun interaction with this person's chart that can comment on their work because these are the interplaying energies for their 10th house Leo. Okay, so Aquarius moons, you've got Saturn here. You have Saturn over your moon. This can feel very restrictive, very alone, very out of touch sometimes, especially with Aquarius, because y'all are very aloof and ambivalent, and like you're always like somewhere ahead of the crowd, figuring stuff out. And so this might be a good time for you to have a little solitude during this moon. Saturn will transit over your moon for about a year. If your moon's in Aquarius. Um, and it can feel lonely. You can feel very separated. But once it moves past that, then you've got a whole new set of like wisdom and base of knowledge that you can use and work with. Okay, so we're moving on to the 10th house, which is at an angle to the current moon. And this is the first half of Pisces. This is where the north node is. So if your moon is in early Pisces, you've got Neptune there and the north node over your intuitive channel, over your emotional body. And it is literally about your public image. So it's about when you work with the collective, you're going to be seen doing that. So there might be some collective energy. There might be some changes around your work that allow you to do that. And you're going to be able to use the imaginative cosmic shaman channel of Neptune to help you do that, to help you come up with the ideas that you need. Seema Dragoon says, hi, Danny. Hi, Seema. Agni MK says, thank you, my ancestral lineage. Stretches so far back, the work stretches as far as I am, filling the whole void into eternity. Well, since we were probably related at some point in the lineage, thank you, because it's healed us all. I know it's hard work. Moving on, 11th house moon is going to be the last part of Pisces where Chiron is and Aries. And this is the 11th house from the moon. Okay, so this is groups. So you're going to want to be with your people during this full moon. If you've got a late Pisces, early Aries moon. And then if you've got a Taurus moon, but not conjunct, maybe conjunct Uranus, then you're in the 12th house from the moon. And so this is where you can begin your dreams, dreaming about what you want to create, your individual expression of the divine, what you're going to be. It can also be solitude too, and connecting with spirit. So it's amazing. That's where we are. That's all I have for you guys. I hope this moon is good for you all. I hope you realize that you're very powerful, that you have the ability to create the world around you, even though sometimes it feels like we don't have a choice. When you surrender to who you are, to the stars that created you, that you selected before you embodied down here, when you can surrender to that and God, let go of the identity, it's like a flow. It's a cosmic flow, and it's like I'm not sitting here telling you that it's like all sunshine and sparkles, but it's like you'll see things coming before they come to you, or you'll avoid things that might have otherwise been terrible because you were maybe inconvenienced a little bit, you still went with the flow. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like it's almost like the universe will have your back, and you just have to trust it, and that first step is the hardest part, is turning off that thinker and just letting it happen, letting that awakening take place, but also grounding yourself. So I hope you all join the Fellowship of 13 Signs. That's free on Facebook. You can just hang out with us over there. Please like this video if you enjoyed the teaching. Subscribe if you're lurking. Look out for Holly Hall's podcast. Check out Logan and I's discussion from Monday night if you have not already. That was fabulous. I think we figured it out. And I think I think he and I actually came to this realm on the same ship. It just feels like really synergistic. So part of the same family. And then y'all, please check out Stellar Foundations. If it's not for you, but you want to support the work, then we welcome and I appreciate your donations. And like I said, I'm 100% committed to matching 100% of the donations so that we can get students in this program and working with us. All right. So let's see. Today's Thursday. I'm going to the Ren Festival on Saturday. And so I think Sunday I may come on and we will do a talk or a discussion, probably on the solstice. I want to hammer that home again with you guys. All right. I'm going to sign out. I love y'all so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Lori, for moderating. Thank you guys for sharing your moons with me. And we'll see you all later. Take care.